One thing that every D&D game needs is cool places for our players to visit, whether that be a city or a town or some dangerous destination that they can go to and adventure in. This is essential to our games. And there's a ton of great adventures out there that are filled with these locations, but sometimes we need something that's outside of that, or sometimes we just want to homebrew our own thing and we need a bit of inspiration for it. And what do we do about that? Well, Nord Games has a couple of really great books to help with just that, and I want to take a look at those with you today. So let's get into it. Hello, everybody. I'm Joe, and this is the DM Toolbox, your go-to place to get all the tools you need to enhance your D&D games. Today, I want to look at a couple of books that I have here from Nord Games. Now, one is one I've reviewed before, and I just want to give it a quick mention, and that is Spectacular Settlements. This is a great book that is filled with tables that we can roll up a town or a city or a capital or something like that for our players to visit and possibly adventure in. And this by far is one of my favorite books I have on my shelf. I use it a ton. I'm currently playing a Midgard campaign, and if you've ever looked at the Midgard map from Global Press, it is filled with cities and towns all over the map that really don't have any established detail about them in the books. And I bust out Spectacular Settlements and I roll up information on those locations and I create them myself. So I absolutely love this book, and it's a system agnostic book. You can use it for Pathfinder, D&D, Savage Worlds, whatever your game is, it works for that. But settlements is only one half of the equation. The other half is those dangerous places we like to send our players to, places that only the bravest adventurers and heroes will go to. And that is where Nord's newest book comes in, and the book we're going to talk about today, Dangerous Destinations. This book, they did a Kickstarter for it a year or so, maybe a little more than that ago, and it's hit US stores just recently. I just got my copy in yesterday and got to look through it and play with it a bunch, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So what I want to do today is give you a quick view of this book, and then we can roll up a destination together, and we'll kind of come up with all the stuff about it, and I want to ask you to help me flesh that destination out and write some story behind it. So let's take a look. Okay, so Dangerous Destinations. This book is super cool. You can see here it's got some great art on the cover and really some great art on the inside as well. And basically the way this book works is there's 4 sections that we are going to run through, each with some unique tables. And depending on our results, it'll lead us to another table, another section, another chapter. So just want to give you a quick overview here. The book itself, just so you have an idea, very nice, very good construction. They do the sewn-in bindings. They have nice, heavy paper quality, nice weight paper. It is a great looking book overall, and it's something I've just kind of come to expect from Nord. But let's look on the inside real quick. So I'm just going to kind of go here over to the kind of introduction section and kind of run you through the basics. There are 4 main sections to the book. Part 0, they call it. Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. Part 0 is a prelude. So what we're going to do in Part 0 is it's just a couple of tables. We're going to get some general theme, overarching ideas about our destination, and we're going to get the type of destination. From there, that will lead us to Part 1, which is the destinations. Based on the type that we roll in Part 0, we'll go to the specific chapter in the destinations part, and we will roll stuff up. Now, the different types of destinations are things like, is this a burial ground? Is it like a graveyard or a crypt? Is it a camp, a fortress, a headquarters, a hideout, an outpost, a religious site, maybe a religious structure, maybe somebody's residence, a settlement, a location, like a small location, or a watchtower? So based on what we roll, we'll go to that appropriate chapter and we're going to flesh out that destination with a bunch of detail. Then the other thing we're going to get is we're going to get an environment. So when we're rolling up our destination, there's going to be kind of 2 main things we're going to roll on, and that's going to be the environment and the danger. Based on that roll, we'll go to the appropriate chapter in the environments part and roll up details on that. And based on the danger we rolled, we'll go to the danger section and go to the appropriate chapter there and roll up details on that. So different types of environments are going to be things like, is it a forest? Is it coastal, desert, swamp, things like that. And the danger is going to be, what we're going to get is it a beast, a humanoid, an intelligent monster, an unintelligent monster, something like that. And then we'll go into the appropriate section for that and we'll find out, is it a beholder or is it a cult leader or is it a troll or whatever. So, and then we flesh out details about those things. So, what I want to do is turn the camera down here on my book, and I got my dice here, and we're going to roll up a thing together. I'll kind of track it all, and I will post the results here in the description of the video. And what I want you to do when we're done is to take that and let's write up some story together. And I'm curious to see what you guys come up with for some backstory and some, adventure information that we can use to flush out this location that we're about to roll up together. So let's do that now. Okay, so here we go. We're in the Prelude section here. I've got some dice here for us to use, and I've got a piece of paper that I'm just going to write down my results with. So we are going to start here with a theme. So we're going to roll a d20. We're going to get a theme here. So our theme is, I rolled a nat 1. Our theme is love. So romance in many facets. Then we're going to go to the next table, which is going to be a previous presence. So this is basically what, if anything, was found here before your dangerous destination occupied the location. So let's roll a d20, and we got a 17. So cursed. The area was deliberately cursed by someone or something. The curse may have affected the land, all those who lived or came here, or perhaps any particular individual. Now we're going to move on to the destination type. So what type of place is your destination? And this is going to bring us into our next section. So a D12, rolled it off the book here. All right, we got an 8. So it's a religious structure. All right, so that brings us to, now this is going to tell us right here to go to page 54. All right, here we are on 54, religious site. It's got some cool text and stuff we can read here, but we're going to skip right into the first table, which is what ideal is the site dedicated to. So let's roll a d20. We got a 6. So elemental earth. The domain is tied to the essence of stone, soil, mineral, and gems. All right, next up, we are going to roll on the alignment of it. So is it a good, neutral, evil? It is going to be good. So that kind of works with our theme of love, perhaps. But, the elemental earth and love, I'm not sure how we're going to tie that in just yet. But let's look at significant reason. Why is the site so significant? So let's roll a d10. We've got an 8, so a miracle. A wondrous, incredible occurrence happened here. Next up is age. How long ago was the religious site established? So let's roll a d20. We got an 18, so it's ancient. Okay. All right, next page, we have the size. So how much space does the site occupy? This is going to be a D100. So we have a 94. So that is going to be a huge area. So the area of the site occupies up to an acre in area. Condition. What sort of shape is the site in? So let's roll a D12 here. We have a 12. Exquisite. So it's an ancient site that is an exquisite shape. So that's interesting. Site accessibility. How accessible is this place? How hard is it to get to this place? 2. So it's very difficult to reach. Next up is adherent traffic. How many non-local adherents does this site normally see on a regular basis? Now there's a note here, local adherents. Local adherents are lucky enough to live nearby, so unless actively prevented from doing so, most likely have the option to visit the site as often as they please. The number mentioned in the following table addresses non-local adherents only. That must make a special trip to do so. So very difficult ancient site that we're dealing with. So let's see here. Now what's interesting about this is sometimes we're going to get these contradictions. And, those aren't necessarily bad. That just inspires us to come up with, more story on why those contradictions exist. So let's see what we get. I'm going to roll a d20. We got a 17. I'm rolling good today. So it gets a lot of people, up to 100 a month. So it must be very significant. I mean, this ancient, highly significant site with this miracle, there's probably a lot of people who want to visit it, pilgrims who come visit it. Next up is the adherents interaction. When visiting the site, what do the adherents usually do? This is going to be another D20 roll. So we got a 15 here. So they're there for pray. Adherents usually say prayers or make a verbal declarations. What's interesting about all this so far is this elemental earth is um, the domain. This feels like more of like a holier site, but an elemental holy site. I'm wondering how we can work that in. That's gonna be a fun one, I think, to work in. Okay, next up is our environmental danger. So this is the big. This is our environment and our danger. So these two roles are going to lead us to the other two chapters. So first we'll roll on the environment. So let's roll a d12 for that. So we got an 11. So it's going to be urban. So what sort of environment is the religious site located in? It's urban. So it's very difficult to reach. It's ancient, yet it's urban. So some lost, or previously lost city maybe, or this is, like kind of like a El Dorado type thing where it's like the city of gold. I don't know. Interesting. Now, one thing I will say is if you don't like the roll that you get, re-roll it. Or if you just want to pick it, if we want this to be in the mountains because it makes more sense, we can just say this is in the mountains. That's perfectly acceptable. But we're just going to roll today and see what happens. The other part here that we're going to roll is our danger. Let's see what our danger is. So we're going to roll a d20 here. We got a 4. And the environmental danger is a beast. Roll for the type of environmental beast at the end of the environment chapter, then turn to the danger and beast unintelligent monster chapter to roll on its tables. So we're going to go to the environments. We're going to roll through. There's going to be a table there for danger and beast that we'll roll on, and then that will get us to the next chapter. Flipping back over here to our previous table, we rolled urban, so we're going to head over to page 170 here. The other thing we're going to do later on is on page 180, we'll roll up some more information. Okay, page 170, we're here on the urban section, so let's get some information on our urban setting. So we're going to start here with destination location. Where is the urban area in the destination located? We've got this ancient elemental earth religious site in an urban location located within the inner urban. So the destination is close to the center of the urban area than its outer edge. Next, the condition of the area. This is another D4 roll. So what state is the area around the destination in? So it's derelict. So the destination's environment is in a terrible state, the worst it could possibly be before people would be forced to abandon it entirely. Roads are broken or just filthy dirt, mud paths, structures in the immediate area are in deplorable state, etc. Okay, next we're going to look at the area density. How dense are the structures, properties, and plots in the area? All right, another D4 roll here. So this one is snug. The destination is surrounded by several places of note. Its immediate neighbors are close by with little space separating them from one another. There are few, if any, large open spaces nearby unless the destination is on the very edge of the urban area. Next up, we're going to look at the notable environment features. So what sort of notable landmarks or features are nearby? So let's roll a d20. We got a 5. So local charm, a landmark or place of note that locals favor, view as good luck, charm, or otherwise has notable positive significance to the community. Next is the local behavior. What sort of behavior usually takes place in and around the destination? All right, that's going to be a D10 roll. I got a 10. So we got multiple. In and around the environment of the destination, multiple different behaviors take place. Roll 2d10 on this table, re-rolling results of 10 for both. So we're going to get 2 results instead of 1. So the first one's going to be an 8, which is transport in and around the environment of the destination is a transport hub, such as a docks, a caravan staging area, a local stable, or something of nature. Our second one is going to be a 5, which is a shady dealings in and around the environment of the destination. Various illegal or secret activities of business transaction take place. All right, and then next up is going to be secrets. What, if any, secrets are being concealed in the area around the destination? D12, I got a 2. So dead drop. The area around the destination is near a spot used for covert transfer of goods or information. So now I'm starting to see, like, we could send our players here and yeah, there's this religious site of significance, but there could be a lot of other, illegal activity going on. Why is this ancient place that so many people want to visit that had this big miracle in such terrible condition? Obviously there's maybe some kind of gang or something that's running the show. Who knows? All right, let's look at some of the recent weather in the area. So this is getting into some more detail. So how has the weather been recently? We're going to roll a D8. We got a 7, so it's seasonal weather. So depending on our campaign, we're going to get heavy rain if it's spring, or it's going to be dry if it's summer. It's going to be frost in the autumn or snow in the winter. So just depending on what you want, you guys can decide that part. The current weather, the weather when you arrive, that's going to be a D6. So a 4. So it's basically the same as the recent weather. Okay, this next one's now we're getting important here. So this is the environmental dangers. This says important. If you did not roll environmental dangers beast, unintelligent monster / intelligent monster, you are done with the environment chapter. Please turn to the appropriate danger chapter to continue. Now we did roll beast, so we are going to roll right here on this table, which is going to be the environmental danger beast. So this is the urban beast table. So we're going to roll a d20. And that is going to give us some information. So let's see here. Now, if we had rolled on intelligent monster, we would come over to this one. But we're going to roll on the beast table. So I'm going to roll a d20. I got a 12. So rat. Okay. And then it wants me to roll a d6 for more specific information. And I rolled a 6. So swarm of rats. So a swarm of rats is our danger. Maybe it's a ton of swarms of rats, depending on level. But let's see here. Okay, next up, if you remember from earlier, when we rolled up our beast, we rolled a beast unintelligent beast. So we're going to get some more information on this now. Okay, so here's our beast unintelligent monster section. So let's find out what's going on with these swarms of rats. This is going to give us some more information to build on. So let's first roll the creature state. Roll a d10. So what is driving the creature to be a danger to the destination? Rolled off the book. A 4. So home, the creature wants to live here. Kinship similarity. How similar is this creature to others of its kind? So this is going to be interesting. So a 6, it's offbeat. The creature is a bit different from others of its kind in some ways, like a slightly unusual temperament or visual difference such as a coloring. However, at its core, it's still very much like its kin. All right, and the creature size. How big is the creature in comparison to others of its kind? Now, this doesn't mean that we're going to up the creature's size rating. And, like if we're dealing with D&D 5e, we're not going to take a rat that is tiny and make it medium or large. But compared to other tiny rats, how big are these rats? So let's roll a d8. 7. Great. The creature is larger than is normal for one of its age and species. So these rats are a little oversized. They're like New York City rats, right? Like pizza rat or something. Okay, next up is harmed locals. Who or what has been harmed by this creature? So let's take a look. Roll a d12, and we get a 2. So indiscriminate. Random locals have been intentionally harmed, hunted, or otherwise aggrieved by the creatures. Local mindset. What is the mindset of the locals with regard to the creature? Now, I feel like if I was doing this on myself, I would probably be like, just go with opposed, because it just makes sense at this point. But let's roll and see what happens. I got a 1, so we're going with opposed. But that's one of the things is that, like, what if they were just, adapted? Like, they just don't care. They're just used to it. Like, that would be an interesting result. Creature schedule is next. So when is the creature most active? So let's see here. So 2, it's nocturnal. So this is generally happening at night. And then environment impact. How has the creature affected the environment? So I got a 12 on that. So it's had a heavy effect on the environment. I kind of like that. That could be why the place looks like crap. Okay, so we've rolled up our results from the book. You kind of see how this works now. There are some other sections in the back I'll cover real quick, but I've made a list here of everything. I'm going to type this up with the descriptions, and I'm going to put a document link in the description to the video. And I want you guys to come up with a story for me and post in the comments. And let's see what you guys come up with. Now, the book does have a couple of other sections. There's 2 sections, really. So the first section is a part on antagonist. So I like this section. They remind us that an antagonist isn't always our BBG, but it can be. But it's generally just somebody who's an obstacle in our way of some sort. But it does have a lot of really good inspiration for our main antagonist of our story. So if you're trying to come up with a campaign, you're like, man, what should my big bad guy be? you can flip to this chapter and there's some great ideas in here that you can use as like a seed for your idea. Like one of them was like a mad scientist, and they had some traits that that person would have. They don't give specifics on what that guy is doing, just these traits and ideas, and you come up with it. Then the other section is they actually have some pre-generated dangerous destinations that they created using these tables for us to just grab and use. Those include some maps. Now, the maps in the book are probably not great for if you're looking to do like a virtual tabletop, but they do have on their website. And again, I'll have a link to the Nord site where you can purchase this stuff. But they do have digital versions of the maps that you can get, put on your virtual tabletop, or print out for your tables if you want. So really awesome book. You see how much fun it can be to just roll this stuff up. I found this one to be pretty interesting, a pretty weird one with the whole the rats. The big thing I want you guys to try to do here, though, I think the real assignment in this is taking that theme of love that we rolled up and worked that into a story about an ancient city that's got this religious site dedicated to elemental earth, but the city's in terrible shape and it's overrun by rats. What's going on there? And there's a bunch of like illegal activity happening. I feel like there's some good story ideas here, and I cannot wait to see what some of you guys come up with. So make sure you post in the comments below. Make sure if you're not subscribed to the channel, so hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on this video if you're enjoying it, because I want to keep bringing you guys content. Make sure you follow me over on Twitter at toolbox_DM and on TikTok at DM Toolbox. I am starting to do some TikToks again, and I also plan to do some more lives. I might actually do some lives with this book and with Spectacular Settlements where we can roll stuff up together live and you guys can interact and we come up with stories. So make sure you follow me in every place you can. And that's it for today. So until next time, roll those dice.